So a very good evening to one and all present over here. So in this dialogue series today we are having Mr. Rajan Kumar, who is working as drug inspector and medical device officer in Central Drug Standard Control Organization, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, CDSCO, Government of India. He is having more than 6 years of experience in uh, as a drug inspector and medical device officer. Previously, previously he was working as previously he was working as a pharmacist in HP government under HP government. So now his talk of today's lecture is powers and duties of drug inspector. So from whole ISFCP family, I welcome you, sir, to this dialogue series, and I hand over the mic to you for your presentation. So over to you, sir.
Hmm. Initially, I want to extend my gratitude to Dr. Shri Praveen Garg ji, Chairman, Professor Dr. G.D. Gupta sir, Director cum Principal, and Professor Dr. R.K. Narang ji, Vice Principal, and also my friend dear Dr. Rohit Bhatia ji. Thanks for having me on this platform.
Pleasure, sir.
Today we will discuss powers and duty of the drug inspectors. I will give you a brief description of the duties, how the drug inspector and the medical device officers work in the drug regulatory agencies. Um, my slides are moving. Is it visible, Mr. Bhatia? Hello?
Yes, now it's moving, sir.
Moving?
You can
Oh,
continue.
yes, sir. So today we will know about the how the drug inspector works. First, first of all, we must know about the what is the drug. All the medicinal product, all the products cannot be considered as the drugs. As we know, the Drug and Cosmetic Act is an act which regulates the import, manufacturing, sale, and distribution of the drugs. So the drug is very much defined in the section 3B of the Drug and Cosmetic Act 1940, which is the also a special act, means it is specially designed, constituted for the regulation of the drug. Actually, drugs comes under the concurrent list of the Constitution of India, which is in the seventh schedule of the Constitution. It means that it includes the power to be considered by both the union and the state governments. Means central government as well as state government have the role in its regulations. So, if we see the regulation from the state authorities, the regulation of the manufacture, sale, and distribution of the drug is primarily concerned of the state authorities. Whereas if we come to the union government, then central authorities are responsible for approval of like new drugs, clinical trial in the country, laying down the standard of the drugs, control over the quality of the imported drugs, and coordination of the activities of state drug control organization. And the National Regulatory Authority means CDSCO, the Central Drug Standard Control Organization under the DGHS, Ministry of Health and Family, is the National Regulatory Authority of the India. And its headquarters located in the FDA Bhavan, Kotla Road, New Delhi. It's having 7 zonal offices, that is North Zone like in Ghaziabad, East Zone in Kolkata, West Zone in Mumbai, South Zone in Chennai, Zonal Office Hyderabad, Zonal Office Ahmedabad, and now Baddi has been also been upgraded to the Zonal Office, the new one in the last week only. 6 sub-zonal offices like Jammu, Banaras, Indore, Goa, Guwahati, and it's have also 7 laboratories spread across the country to test all the drug samples sent by the drug inspector to the government analyst for testing. If we see the function of CDSCO, which is the National Regulatory Authority of India, to regulate and the implementation of uniformity of the Drug and Cosmetic Act throughout the country. It is responsible for approval of new drug and clinical trials, like import, registration, and licensing of the drugs, licensing, approving of blood centers, large volume parentals, vaccines, rDNA products, and some medical devices. The central government have also the power to make the rules under section 33 and section 12. uh, Also, it's a power to ban the drugs which are not of standard quality or which are prohibited in the country. Under section 10, under section 28, 26A, 26B, central government can ban the drugs and cosmetics in the public interest to safeguard the health of the public. Also, the CDSCO is responsible for grant of test license. Means if someone want to test the drug like it's new in its own, or want to want to manufacture new formulation, then test license is granted by the central licensing authority. Personal license means if someone wants to import the drug for the personal use, uh, and it's not approved in India, then if someone want to import, uh, as the doctor prescribed the drugs, he can import from the personal for the personal use under the personal license, that is Form 12A, and NOC for the export, testing of new drugs, and overall market surveillance through the Inspectorate of Center over the state association authority is the responsibility of the CDSCO. How we regulate the drugs means acts and rule framed by the central government is helpful in regulating the drugs. Mainly, an inspector touches these regulations to complete his task, like a Drug and Cosmetic Act 1940. It is the drug. It is an act to regulate the import, manufacturing, and distribution and sale of the drugs. And under this act, the central government had framed new drug rules 1945, and recently medical device rules are framed by central government. Further, new drugs and clinical trial rules 2019 also constituted. Cosmetic rules 2020 have separately uh, constitute framed for regulation of these medical devices, new drugs, and cosmetics in the country. Also, drug inspector come across the Drug and Magic Remedies Objectionable Advertisement Act 1954. If someone purport to claim a drug which is like magic remedies for the treatment of like HIV, baldness, then it covers these type of drugs. DPSO Drug Price Control 2013, narcotic drug and psychotropic substance. These are the acts mainly for under which drug inspector come across. Various schedules are prescribed for the regulation of these drugs. Guidelines from time to time. Guidance document issued by the licensing authorities, like office orders issued by administrative orders and circulars. These are the main parameters under which the inspector acts. Actually, drug inspector is the definition of inspector is prescribed in section 3E of the Drug and Cosmetic Act, which means in relation to Ayurvedic, Siddha, or Unani drug, an inspector appointed by the central government or as the state government under section 33G. This 33G means if the inspector is appointed for the Ayurvedic, Siddha, and Unani drugs, then it will be he will be appointed under the section 33G. And if in relation to the drug or cosmetic, which means allopathic medicine in layman language, then it is appointed under the section 21 of the Act, which is responsible for the regulation of these drugs. And section 21 is prescribes the inspectors, who are the inspectors and how they are appointed. In under section 21, inspectors is appointed by notification in official gazette, appoint such person as it thinks fit, having the prescribed qualification to be inspector for such area as may be assigned to them by central government or state government, as the case may be. As I earlier mentioned that it is a drugs comes under the concurrent list, then drug inspectors are also appointed by the for the state licensing authority by state government, and for CDSCO for the central government. So no person who has an financial interest in the import, manufacture, or sale of drugs or cosmetics shall be appointed to be an inspector under this section. If someone is having, like, if someone have manufacturing sites or retail or wholesale, then he will not be eligible for being inspector. Further, every inspector shall be deemed to be public servant within the meaning of section 21 of the IPC. Drug inspector is also considered as the public servant. Further, what is the power of inspectors? These powers are prescribed by the Drug and Cosmetic Act to the inspectors under the Section 2022. Subject to the Section 23, any rules made by central government in this behalf, an inspector may, within the local limits of the area for which he is appointed, firstly, he can inspect any premises wherein any drug or cosmetic is being manufactured and the means employed for the standardizing and testing the drug or cosmetics, and also inspect any premises wherein any drug or cosmetic is being sold or stocked or exhibited or offered for sale or distributed. So first kind of its work is inspection. The second is take samples of any drug or cosmetics which is being manufactured or being sold or is stocked or exhibited or offered for sale or is being distributed. He can take sample from that premises or from any person who is in course of conveying, delivering, or preparing to deliver such drug or cosmetic to the purchaser or consignee. Means he can take sample from the site premises or he can also take sample from any person. Further, all the reasonable time which such assistant, if any, he considers necessary. The, the important thing is mentioned here is he has reason to believe. He can search any person who he has reason to believe. The main focus is here to reason to believe. He must have a reason to believe that he can search any person who any drug or cosmetic in respect of which an offense under this chapter has been is being committed or made, or enter and search any place in which he has reason to believe. Inspector must have a reason to believe that some contravention of this act is being committed or is being done at this place or by this person. Then only then he can search any person or any place and stop and search any vehicle, vessel, or other conveyance which he has reason to believe he is being used to carry any drug or cosmetic in respect of which an offense under this has been is being or committed. Inspector can examine any record, register, document, or any other material objects found with any person or in any place, vehicle, vessel, or other conveyance referred to in clause C, or and seize the same, if he has reason to believe that it may furnish evidence of the commission of the offense punishable under this act or rule made thereunder. Inspector require any person to produce any record, register, or other documents. He may ask for the any retailer or manufacturer, which may subsequently may help as evidence in the court of law against the accused. That he can ask any kind of like record, register, or documents as he desires. And under subsection B, exercise such, this is immense power given to the drug inspector here. All the open up for the inspector, exercise such other powers as may be necessary for the carrying out the purpose of this chapter or any rules made under. Means he can act, he can exercise his powers if he thinks fit or if he has reason to believe that any of the contribution of this act or rule has been made by any person. And now in the recent judgment by the Supreme Court of India, the drug inspector has been given a power to arrest of any person. Further, in the power of inspector, which are prescribed under Section 2022, the inspector don't need any warrant to search or seize any place or any object. Every record, register, or other document seized under clause CC, produced under clause CC, these are the earlier I have mentioned you in the earlier slides. If he sees such things like documents or objects, then he has to report to report to the judicial magistrate within 24 hours. And also, if he don't want to dispose of these things, then he will give the 20 days notice to the from the person from whom he has taken these documents or drugs. And if under the section subsection 3, if any person willfully obstruct an inspector in exercising of his power, then it is a punishable offense, which may be punishment may be imprisonment of 3 years or with fine or with both. Now we will go through the procedures. What are the procedures to be followed by the inspector, which are prescribed under the section 2023 of the Drug and Cosmetic Act 1940. Where an inspector takes any sample of drug or cosmetic under this chapter, he shall tender the fair price thereof and may require a written acknowledgement. If an inspector take a sample, he has to pay the price of the drug from where he has taken the sample. If someone refuse to take the uh, fair price of these sample drug from inspector, then he can in prescribed form, like in 17, he can issue a 17A to the retailer or manufacturer from where he has sample taken, informing that he has refused to take these fair price of drug sample inspector has been taken. Where an inspector take a sample of drug or cosmetic for the purpose of test or analysis, he shall intimate such person in writing in prescribed form. That is form 17. Inspector will give form 17 like a intimation to the from whom he has taken the samples for the test and analysis, and mark his and divide these samples into 4 equal portions. Inspector have to take the sample. If he takes the sample from the retailer, he have to divide it into the 4 equal portions, and if he take the sample from the manufacturer, then it should be divided into the 3 portions. Further, inspector shall store 1 portion of the. This is the procedure for sampling of the drugs. He will out of the 4 portions, he will store 1 portion of the sample, so divided, or one container, as the case may be, to the person from he takes it. One sample is stored to the person from he has taken. Like if he takes the sample from the retailer, 1 portion will be restored to the retailer, and 1 portion he will send to the government analyst for the test and analysis. And third portion he will retain it with itself when produced in the court of law during the proceedings, if it is declared as a note of standard quality. And one last one is sent to the manufacturer, whose name is disclosed from the under section 18A. That is who is the manufacturer of the these drugs, or this sample have been taken by the inspector. Then the 4th portion is sent to that person, means manufacturer. Where an inspector sees any record, register, document, or any other material object under clause CC of the subsection 1 or of section 22, he shall, as soon as may be, inform a judicial magistrate. And as I earlier mentioned you, he has to inform immediately to the judicial magistrate about the action he has taken within 24 hours. Further, if we see the rules 51 and 52 are the duties of inspector prescribed by the rules of the made under the Drug and Cosmetic Act 1940. Means rule 52 prescribes the duties of inspector for premises licensed for sale, and rule 52 prescribes the duties of inspector specially authorized to inspect the manufacturing of drugs. If we see the duty of inspector for the premises licensed for sale, then he must inspect not less than 1 year all the establishment licensed for sale of drugs within the area assigned to him, or to satisfy himself that the condition of the license are being observed, to procure and resend, means sampling, send for test or sampling. If necessary, imported package will be has to be reason to suspect contain drug being sold or stocked or exhibited for sale in contravention of provision of this act or rule made thereunder. To investigate any complaint, if he receives any complaint regarding the quality of the drug, any kind of complaint regarding the drug, then he has to investigate the matter, what is the root cause of this complaint, and to report his authority. To institute the prosecution in respect of breaches of the act and rules thereunder. If someone contravenes the act or breach the act and rules they made under, he has the power to take cognizance and may institute the prosecution in the court of law, to maintain a record of all inspections made and action taken by him in performance of his duties, including the taking of samples and seizure of the stocks, and to submit copies of such record to the controlling authorities, to make such inquiries and inspection as may be necessary to detect the sale of drugs in contravention of Act, hence authorized by the state government, to detain imported package which he has reason to suspect contain drug to imported which is prohibited. Means if he suspect or he has reason to believe that it is prohibited drug, it is imported, then he has also power to made his action. And these are the duties regarding the manufacturing of the drugs, means at the manufacturing premises. At the manufacturing premises, the inspector have to inspect not less than once a year all the premises licensed for manufacture of the drugs within its area located to him, means is under his jurisdiction. He has to inspect all the manufacturing premises, not at less than once in a year. In case of established license to manufacture products specified in Schedule C and C1, as you are aware that Schedule C, like who are given antibiotics, who are given vaccine, toxins, sera, and parental antibiotics, etc. And C1 like vitamins are comes under the category of Schedule C and C1. Then he has the power to inspect these kind of manufacturing sites, plants, and their process of manufacturing, means employed to first, and what kind of test are they are performing, how, what are their method analysis, how, what are their product specification. He can inspect each and everything, like technical staff, if it is as per the rule prescribed in the act, in the SAD act, if they are if they have essential qualification, competent to work in the manufacturing sites or not, they have proper experience in them for the purpose of the manufacturing of the drugs. These all kind of things in establishment has to be inspect during the inspection of the manufacturing site or establishment. He has to send forth with to the controlling authority after each inspection a detailed report indicating the condition of the license. He has to report all the things he have, or all the observation he has noted during the inspection. He has to forward all his inspection report to his controlling authority as appointed by the state government, to take the sample of the drug manufactured on the premises and send them for test or analysis in accordance with these rules. It means sampling from the manufacturing site, to institute prosecution inspect of breaches of the act and rules made there under. If inspector take a sample and send to the government analyst, and uh, uh, government analyst report says that or declare it as the not of standard quality, then a drug inspector has to institute a prosecution in respect of the that product or that manufacturer, that why you have manufactures such not of standard quality drugs. As I earlier mentioned that under the Drug and Cosmetic Acts, new rules like Drug Rules 1945, New Drug and Clinical Trial Rules 2019, and Cosmetic Rules 2020 has been framed from the central government recently. So accordingly, drug inspectors are responsible for these all the activities under these rules for the regulation of these drugs. Under the medical device rules, the drug inspector or any officer may be appointed by the government as an MDO, means medical device officer, which is responsible for the regulation of medical devices of the medical devices and IVD, means medical these. So of various forms and various various forms prescribed under these rules, for which is helpful for the or which comes across the duty under the duties of drug inspector or medical device officers, like intimation of the person from whose sample is taken. Means when an inspectors take a sample from any person like manufacturer or retailer, then he has to give his a form 17, which is the intimation that I have taken this sample from your premises. This is the proof. And in case when we take the medical device medical devices or in vitro medical devices, then form 16 form MD36 is issued by the uh, MDO to the uh, from whom the sample has been taken by the MDO. And in case in case of the inspector take a sample from the cosmetic premises, then it will give, he will issue as intimation under cost 10, with cosmetic form cosmetic 10. Further, if the person refused to take the fair price of these sample taken by the inspector, then if he refuses, then he has to give the receipt of sample as a 17A in case of the drugs. And in case of medical devices, the form is named as MD37. And if he takes the sample as cosmetic sample, then it will be cosmetic COS 16, form number COS 16. Uh, After taking the sample, the drug inspector send his samples to the government analyst for testing and analysis. That was sent by the drug inspector under the form 18. And in case it is a medical device, it is MD38, and in case of cosmetic, it's COS 17. After receiving these samples, checking all the seals sent by um, inspector, the government analyst give his report. Here is mentioned under section 25(1), means he give his report in the form 13, means test report for the allopathic drugs. And in case it is medical device, it is MD32. In case of cosmetic, it is COS 19. Here 13A is given by government analyst under section 33H. It means it is if the samples taken as Ayurvedic, Siddha or Unani drugs, then the report becomes under the form 13A, and there is no provision, not provision for the medical devices and cosmetics. If inspectors has reason to believe that if some drug he has seen at the attic premises or manufacturing site or any retailer site, that it may contravene the provision of this chapter, then he may give a form 15 to the person that not to dispose this stock in his possession until the report of these samples has been come from the government analyst. So he will give a form 15 him to not to dispose of the stock. In case of the medical devices, it is MD30 form, and it is in case of cosmetic is cosmetic 18. Receipt, if the inspector seizes the material or drug under section 21, 22, 1C or CC of the Drug and Cosmetic Act, then he will give form 16. When the inspector seizes the drug or any medical device or cosmetic, then he will give form 16 in case of drug. In case of medical device, 35, MD35, and uh, cosmetic cos 15 in case of cosmetics. If there are also provision, if drug sample is failed or declared as not of standard quality by the government analyst, then there is a chance to the manufacturer given by the act. He has he has given the right to adduce evidence in controversial of report of this uh, test report of this government analyst. He has given the 28 days time if he want to challenge the report of this government analyst. If he has believed, if the manufacturer of the drug have believed that my sample is not tested well, or my sample is cannot be failed or cannot be as a not of standard quality, then act give a right to challenge the report of this government analyst. And the challenging of this report will be given by judicial magistrate in form 1. Then it will, the four sample I have earlier mentioned, the four sample then will be sent by the judicial magistrate to the central drug laboratory, that is appellate lab of the drugs, in form 1 by judicial magistrate. In case of medical devices, if a medical device manufacturer challenge the report, then it will be given by magistrate in MD30, and in case of cosmetic, it is COS 20. And the report of uh, these samples, four sample challenge sample, will be in form 2 in case of the uh, and the reports will be signed by the director of the laboratories appellate authorities, and directly send forward address to the judicial magistrate. In case of medical device, it is MD31, and in case of form, in case of the cosmetics, it is cosmetic 21. So, if as I have earlier mentioned, that drugs, separate rules are has been framed now for the drugs rule 1945, medical device rule 2017, and for the cosmetic rules 2020 has been framed by the central government. So powers of inspectors, like in case of drugs rules 1940, powers are given under the rule 50 and 52 for the regulation of the drugs. In case of medical devices, as the inspector medical device officers, for the duties are prescribed in the different chapters for the accomplishment of these rules and regulation of the medical devices and in vitro devices, medical devices. This responsibility and duties of MDO are given in the MDR, means medical devices rules, and for the cosmetic, the duties of inspector also prescribed in the cosmetic rules 2020 separately. So these are the basic what the how the inspector works and how they perform their duties in the field, and what the challenge they receive during the inspection, or what kind. So these are the main under the section as prescribed by the Drug and Cosmetic Act. I have briefed you the duties, and these are kind of things. Thank you so much.
So thanks a lot, Mr. Rajan. You have explained in a very well and systematic manner that how drug inspectors are performing their duties and responsibilities. What are the various sections and what are various challenges are there? What are various uh, fields like antibiotics or cosmetics, etc., etc. So this will be very beneficial to us and our students, so they can get benefited about the knowledge of getting in this opportunity. So just I want to ask a question to you, sir, that how should our students prepare so that they can enter in this field, and what are the minimum criteria to enter in the field of CDSCO drug inspector?
As I earlier mentioned, inspectors must have the essential qualification as prescribed in that. That is the Bachelor of Pharmacy. In case of the pharma, B Pharma is the qualification. But sometimes, as per the requirement of the state government or the central government, they may ask for the experience.
Okay.
Like I have mentioned in my slide, inspector have to inspect the manufacturing sites we who are manufacturing the category of drugs which are scheduled in the C and C1. Then the government may ask for the essential qualification as experience also.
Okay.
So one should, there is nothing special to say, but everyone should be aware and have strong background, like basic knowledge of the drugs, what is drug, how they are manufactured, what are the factors affecting the quality, safety of the drugs, how the regulations, how these are drugs are regulated in India. They and jurisprudence, they have must have the basic knowledge of their manufacturing testing, like how they work, their pharmacology, mechanism of action. These kind of things becomes necessary to understand the um, these things, and which is very crucial, play a crucial role in the exams.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.